Hello guys, here's another video for you. Don't always expect them this regular, but circumstances at the moment allows me to do one. My missus has gone to town, and so I've come in the workshop to do a bit of a play really. I've lit the fire because it's a bit chilly, and the old chestnuts are in season now, so if this was smelly vision, I've been stuffing my face with those. Anyway, I'm a reasonably organised sort of person, and I know where most things are, but I'm also a bit of a magpie, and I've got stuff I've been collecting for years and years and years. And so I know where most of it is, but sometimes it's a job to put your hand on things, and I collect all manner of strange sort of things because, well, you never know, you know, what you can do with it. There's no such thing as waste, I've said this before. It's just materials and items you haven't found a use for. Some of the unusual things, I mean, you might know what these are. I think these come out of a skip somewhere. Loads of little tooling here. I'll use a magnifying glass. Someone's manufactured these. There is a name on them, but they're like little tools. Let's see if I can do that. Does that show you? Look how beautifully they've been machined. I mean, they've been made for a purpose. And they've got a flat on here, and it says AC DAC Limited. DAC Limited. And some numbers, but I can't make out the numbers. But beautifully engineered, and I've got packets and packets of these things. So I've no idea what they were used for, but they've been sitting in a drawer for 15, 20 years. I'll find a use or make something. The same can be said for these. I picked these out of a skip. They're like little grindstones, look. Okay, with a little aluminium body and a thread up the end. And I thought, oh, they're handy. There's no names on it, but something tells me they're German. I don't know why. And I suspect, and it's only a guess, I suspect they're something like dental burrs. I suspect, I don't know. I've tried using them in my die grinder, and on metal they just don't last 2 seconds. So the composite of the grit isn't for metal, so any ideas? But I've made up an adapter just to fit that thread to go in the old Dremel or the die grinder. Anyway, I digress. I've come across these things, you can guess that, can't you? Looking for what I was trying to find. They came out of the bottom of a skip. Loads of those, and normally you think, well, what is it? Just a piece of metal with a hole. But when you look closely, you'll see that this section, brazed on, is tungsten tip, and they're all the same. So they're handy. And in the same skip, there's loads of these. Now this is a find of the century, guys. These things. Little pieces of metal like that. But when you look really close, they've all got an industrial diamond in the end. Best be a carat or two. Look at that. Thrown in a skip. Don't know what they cost you to buy. Anyway, these are absolutely ideal for dressing wheels and this sort of thing. And this is what I was looking for when I was going through all this other junk. I want something to cut glass. I want to cut some bottles. So I'll make up a very simple bottle cutter. I mean, there's loads on YouTube how to do those. But I want it for a specific job. What I want is tubes of glass, preferably different colours, to make up some mock Art Deco lighting. And there's numerous ways you can cut this, we know. You can do it with hot and cold water, you can do it with a hot wheel, you can do it with a flame, you can do it by scoring around with a tool and tapping on the inside with an L piece. Also, I won't go into that, I'm sure you know more about that than I do. That's not my thing, this bottle art stuff, but I do need to cut some now. And I had in mind these diamonds, and these diamonds, I mean, they're just a jar. That is perfect. So that was the thought I had. So my simple cutter, very crude, but you know I like simple things. It's a piece of wood with holes drilled in it, okay, and 2 pieces of wood screwed on top. And the idea is your bottle sits like that and doesn't touch the bottom, okay? You've got the idea, I know you have. And then a piece of metal, this was a bolt actually, that drops anywhere in these holes. This gives me spacing, okay? So I can space that bottle up to, that gives me a register, yes? Right, you're with me. Another piece of this stuff, which is a piece of bolt, same diameter, where has it gone? There it is. I've drilled it out, but not all the way through. And that too sits in those holes, or any holes. And then I found a spring, nice hefty sort of spring, that drops down the end of that. And I've got another piece of bolt, and I've drilled a little hole in there, but not right the way through. And yes, you've guessed it, that drops in there. So we've now got a diamond in a holder. And the holder drops on top of the spring. We've now got a sprung-loaded diamond. So that sits in there. That sits there, or whatever length we want. And you push down and we can score the, just turn it and score that. I won't do that right now, because I haven't worked out what I'm trying to do. But that's my simple scriber for putting a line round a bottle at a particular point. Now, ideally, if you've got to score one single score on glass, ideally it's a good idea to try and tap it from the other side, the inside of the bottle, for the best success. And you can get, I can't put my hand on it, you can put something that you put down the top with a couple of washers, and that's sort of an L shape, and you rock it so it taps right adjacent to the, I found a much simpler way. Half a dozen ball bearings, put it over a bucket and just shake it like that, and the end will just fall off. Anyway, that's the modus operandi at the moment. Okie doke, just listen to that flaming rain. This morning I went down to the boat and bailed out. I think I'll have to do it again tomorrow. Anyway, just digress for the moment. Back to these things, these lovely little grindstones. The actual grit is extremely fine. Probably why they didn't last too well in the die grinder. I've got probably the speed. But on steel, well, you can see they will mark. Well, it doesn't show up too well, does it? They do mark, but I've found out if we can cut the speed down and use paraffin and water, we can grind glass with them. So I still don't know what they're used for, but I might be able to use those in my engraving machine. Not quite sure how or why yet. They'll go within the chuck of the engraver. Anyway, you guys will tell me what it is. Wow, don't come much simpler than that, does it? Okay? Right, well, my missus has just called me. She's home and she says the kettle's on, so more on this later, guys. Bye for now.